Alright, hi, my name is Bryce Butler. This is my video for Sprint 4. So, as I've shown before, I already had the Flea and the Scorpion done, and they were built off of a base enemy class. And I used the base enemy class to hold similar things like the position, and the speed, and the texture, bitmap. I also use it for collision, so collision with a general base enemy rather than having to test for collision with each individual entity. My Flea, in its update, it just moves down, and if it's angry, or if it's not angry, then it will randomly spawn a mushroom, or see if it can spawn a mushroom. Otherwise, it moves at a speed of 2.5 its normal speed, and doesn't do anything mushroom related. And when it collides with the bullet, if it's not angry, it sets angry to true, else it destroys itself. The Scorpion moves right or left, depending on if it starts on the right or it starts on the left, and then once it gets off screen it kills itself. And then when it collides with the grid item, it calls the grid item's poison method, which poisons it. My spider works off a Q system. Right now it just zigzags. I didn't have time to fully implement the full AI of the Scorpion, or if you can call it AI. So right now, if the queue is empty, I set it equal to the pre-comped one, and then I set my start pose to pose, and if it's not empty, then pose equals my start pose plus my queue pose, which is just an offset position, not a definite world position. And then I pop it, and then if it's off screen, it destroys itself. And when it collides with the grid item, it has a chance to eat the mushroom, so it won't eat every single mushroom. So let me run it real quick, like. Okay, well, while that's building in the background, I have factories for everything. Flea factory, Scorpion factory, spider factory. I have my wave manager, which has a whole bunch of consts. I'll get back to that because the game is playing. So right now I got my little Scorpion, or Centipede, kind of just chilling. So when I destroy enough mushrooms, okay, well, there's this Scorpion that just spawned. But when I destroy enough mushrooms, the Flea comes down, and there's a spider. So the fleas come in and drop in mushrooms, but if I hit it, it goes faster. So, and then since the threshold for mushrooms still hasn't been reached, every time a flea dies, it's spawned at a new random location. And then you can see my spider just going up and down, up and down, up and down. Alright. So in my wave manager, I have constant values that mostly determine the bounding and the spawn rate. Then I have my constructors and game object stuff. I have a game object just so I can have the update method. Then I have some flea methods where I set the mushroom count, and a flea dead, and a decrement mushroom count. That's called every time a mushroom is created or destroyed. If it's in the threshold that this flea cares about, then it changes this. It sends to an integer what its current value is. Then I had a scorpion died, a spider died, and a decrement segment count. I have a pointer to the mushroom field, and then a can spawn flea, a current mushroom count, mushroom level offset, trigger, check flea trigger. Can spawn is right, can't spawn is right. So implemented in the update, my scorpion and spider work almost exactly the same. I have their counter that's incremented, and if I can spawn a spider, then if the counter mod the spawn rate equals 0, I set y to a random value that is mod the bottom bound, so between 0 and the bottom bound, which is row 25 in this case, times 8 for the grid cells. It's x is either 0 or the window size, if it's right or left. Then calling the factory, I create one, I change the is right to not is right, and can spawn equals false. Same with the spider, except it has a top and a bottom bound, so I have a bound offset and a top bound. So top bound is row 25 and the offset is 5 rows, so between 25 and 30. And then set mushroom count, my current mushroom count equals the integer, and then I check the flea's trigger. So I'm not checking the flea every frame, only when mushrooms are created or destroyed, or when the flea dies. So in decrement, I check again, and then when the method flea died is called from the flea's destroy method. The can spawn flea is now true, and check the flea trigger again. So check the flea trigger is the current mushroom is less than the mushrooms needed plus the level offset, which will increase with every wave. And you can spawn a flea, spawn the flea. If the scorpion died, you can spawn it. If the spider died, you can spawn it. And so that's everything, I believe. I did not get the score system done, so that's still on my to-do list. And yep, that's it.